Well, welcome to our first video blog for the 1st of January 2015. What my Mogollon Monster team and I are going to start doing this year is we're going to start trying to set up meet and greets in these various small towns that we go through on our way to the Bigfoot territories. This particular town that we're going to be driving into this time is Greer. And so I decided to film a little bit of Greer so that you get a good idea of what it's like up there. And again, this is territory that I have relatives in. The relatives that live in this town are the Burks. And so anyway, David and I are driving into the town. We're going to be checking it out, and we'll be stopping and passing out cards this time. But I think what we're going to try to start doing is contacting the local Chamber of Commerce's and the local city government and see if we can start arranging meet and greets, or we can actually go and have a town meeting somewhere, and I'll listen, take a day out and listen to their stories, and then pick the best stories and actually record them so that we can put them on the internet. Now, I know this sounds a lot like another TV show that does this, but I think basically we can get a better response because I'm a little closer to the people than the TV show folks are. Of course, I won't get the numbers that they get, but what I'm really looking for is those that are serious and are looking to tell their story. And so we want to start collecting up information on the sightings and so forth as to where each sighting occurs and about what time of year and so forth. It's another database that we're starting. Now, in this particular video, you'll probably be able to see some areas where the wallow fire burnt right down to the edge of the city. Well, let's really change the dynamics of the area. Of course, there's not as many game in the area as there once was when there were trees. And I can remember as a kid going in and going fishing in the box canyon below the three lakes. And I caught trout, but every time I went down in there fishing, I had that terrible feeling that I was being watched. Now, at the time, I was a non-believer of Bigfoot, so I just put that off to feeling like it was maybe a bear or a lion or maybe a person, because you never know who's going to be popping up watching you fish. Well, now that I'm a believer, I kind of think that it might have been a Bigfoot or big feet, because catching fish is something that they would be interested in, because if they could learn how we do it and are very successful at it, that would help feed them and their families. So anyway, this is a project that we're going to start up this year, and we hope to share many of the very interesting sightings that we collect up from the towns throughout Arizona with you. Okay, let's get on with the questions and answers. This comes from Miner Joe 90. Mitch, I trust your opinion, so I'd like to get your opinion on this. You hear about pets and dogs that are ripped apart or with their skin almost ripped off. I have been leaving out candy for them across the road, and he's referring to the Bigfoot. There is a tree over there that looks like very sharp claws or fingernail marks about 6 feet up the tree, twist at 7 feet. I can see claw marks in the ice cream container too. It freaks me out knowing it has sharp claws, fingernails. What do you think of this? Well, if it's scratch marks on the side of the tree and they're sharp marks, then it's probably a bear, because bears do that quite often. They use a tree for a scratching post, almost like a cat does, or they'll go after the beetles or insects that are in the tree. It could possibly be a Bigfoot. From what I can figure out and what I have seen is that Bigfoot don't necessarily have sharp claws or fingernails, but they do seem to keep either one or both of their thumbnails sharp, and they kind of use those like pocket knives. I was not able to get the footage of this, but I actually saw a soda can opened this way with her fingernails. However, I think they're like human fingernails. They get so long and then they break off. Especially me, when I go up in the mountains, I'm always breaking fingernails. The twist, that could be Bigfoot at the 7-foot level. And the claw marks on the ice cream container, that still sounds more like a bear, because I think the Bigfoot would use his fingers to scoop the ice cream out, not necessarily use his fingernails. And it freaks me out knowing it has sharp claws and fingernails. Well, I'd be more worried about, large predators like bears and lions and so forth. Bigfoot doesn't necessarily have the personality like a mountain lion or a bear. If you really want to get rid of a Bigfoot, say he's hanging around your house and peeking in your windows and stuff like that, if you really want to get rid of him, go down to the local hardware store, get you a nice battery operated motion sensing security light. Get the 2 brightest floodlights that you can get. Put them in there and put them out where the Bigfoot likes to hang out. He'll come up and he'll get flashed. It might make him yell and scream, but he won't do that again. And if you can imagine, you're walking up to in a dark area and your eyes are all adjusted to the dark, and all of a sudden, there's the light, on you. It's like, oh, that hurts. And it won't hurt them, and they will retreat. Okay? So, and then once they've learned that that light is there, they won't come back. As far as the dogs being ripped apart, we've had 22 dogs go missing in the hot zone area in the last couple of years, since I've been counting. And they just vanish. Okay. Now, I've been all over through the forest, and I have never found a dog carcass. I have found deer carcasses and bear carcasses, and I've even found elk that have been drawn and quartered. But no dogs. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean Bigfoot's the guilty party. It could be a lion, because a lion will take a dog, and it could be various other animals that could get the dog. Now, the freakiest time that I have known of that dogs have disappeared is when they were running up the trail just a short ways away from the owner, and then running back to the owner, and then running back forward again, and then they didn't come back. Not a whimper, not a bark, nothing. Just gone. So, I have no proof that Bigfoot does not like dogs, but I would say I wouldn't want to take a chance on it, because, you love your dog. Just some people love them as much as their kids. So I wouldn't take my dog up Bigfooting. If I took them camping, I would make sure that they were kept in the camp, not allowed to run outside the camp, just as much as I would any little kid. That's my answer for Mina Joe.